So I went to Malta for 4 days for a photography trip to escape this British weather and enjoy the Mediterranean sun. And today I'm going to be explaining my experience in Malta and would I recommend going yourself. So what did I actually take with me? Well, I took my Canon 5D Mark IV, I took my 70-200 f4 IS, the first model, and my Sigma Art 35mm, which is what I'm using to record this video. Now I have to say, the 70-200 stole the show. I used this by far the most and it took some incredible photos. So my flight got into Malta at midnight, so it was straight to the hotel and a big rest. Well, I say a big rest, it was about 3 hours, and then I was up for sunrise and taking some photos with the Sigma Art. They are not amazing photos, they're alright. My friends and I had a good time just, getting a few photos of him and get some silhouette shots, but the sunrise wasn't anything amazing. But the rest of the day was very eventful, so we then went, had breakfast, and then travelled to St Paul's Bay from our hotel and took a catamaran to the neighbouring island of Camino. I got very seasick, the waves were very choppy, but we stopped, had a look around, and I actually managed to spot a wall lizard just on one of the rocks nearby on the path and managed to get some incredible photos. These are meant to be in hibernation during February, so we weren't expecting to see them at all, so it was amazing to see this, and the colours were just so vivid and so green. I love it. We then hopped back on the boat and went straight to the other island, Gozo. I then took a bus and went straight to the capital city, or the only city, of Victoria, and had a look around. So the next day we walked up to an old building on the side of the hill called the Red Tower. It was built in the 1700s and it was used in World War I and II. We went up to the top of the roof and it was just beautiful. The views were insane. I really loved looking around. I didn't even take that many photos, I was just enjoying the moment. So we then paid a visit to a nearby nature reserve that had quite a lot of signage indicating there might be chameleons about. Now I didn't really think too much about this because although I really wanted to see a wild chameleon, I didn't think that there was much of a chance because we were just walking along this narrow path and there was so much environment for them to be in. They could have been absolutely anywhere. But we walked along it anyway and we were scanning the trees looking for any sort of movement and there was nothing. We were just tiptoeing along, really taking our time, and the further we got in, the further we just sort of felt like that's it, we're not going to see anything. It's just one of those things you see a sign for and you don't see the actual thing. So we just walked along and then there was a couple up ahead that were just taking some photos of a tree. So we walked up closer to them and we noticed there was a massive chameleon about 3 meters from the path up in the branches, and I just couldn't believe it. I was so happy to see this. I've never seen a wild chameleon up until this point.
I can't believe it, you've seen one. No, it's so hard trying to get in.
So I managed to try and get some photos with my camera, but they weren't great because the autofocus just hated the branches being in front of the chameleon, so it was all manually focused and there wasn't a clear shot, well, I was just waiting really. So I decided to take a video of him just walking around, and then he got into a really good position, so I had to cut the video off and just take some photos, and I got some really great shots. I didn't feel like I got quite the shot that I wanted. The sun was not in the best spot really, and he wasn't quite in the open enough. There was just too much foliage to get a sharp photo really. But as we were walking along the path, my friend spotted a chameleon directly above us in one of the branches. I would never have noticed it myself, because although he was a much smaller chameleon, he had really vibrant colours. and we were able to go almost a full 360 around him, even getting shots from underneath him. And this was just amazing. I got some great photos and some great videos from my friend. It was a truly great moment, and one I'll definitely remember for years to come. The photos that came out were just fantastic, and it was just an amazing day overall. So in the morning I went to the beach and had a photo shoot with a model named V. She was an absolutely amazing model and I got some fantastic photos. I really think these photos are amazing. So after that, we went around and had a look around the beach, went to, some of the neighbouring cathedrals and got some photos there. But to be honest, there was a random flash flood almost. The sun was out and it was shining strong, but then there was just rain out of nowhere, so I had to quickly cover my camera and put it in my jacket. Although the camera is weather sealed and the lens on the camera should have been fine, it wasn't actually weather sealed itself, the lens, so I didn't want to get anything wet. The 70-200 is completely weather sealed, and that was tested because the 70-200 got absolutely soaked on the way to Camino, just from the sea spray coming over the side of the boat and just soaking the camera and the lens. So it was a real test in a real world scenario. I was able to just use some alcohol wipes and just wipe it clean, and it's just performed really well for the rest of the trip. And then it was back to the hotel, and then back to the airport, and back to the UK. And the weather here is nowhere near as good, I have to say. But that's going to be my summary of Malta. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. Just go to Malta if you can afford it. It's a great time there, really have a look around and do as much as you can while you're there. Although be careful of the drivers, they are a bit unpredictable, and even the Ubers are a bit scary to go into. But yeah, you'll have a great time overall. Thank you ever so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure to leave a like and a comment saying so. That's this video. Goodbye.